Net Control Station, K4LEN. My name is Justin. This net is held every Tuesday night at 8 o'clock p.m. on the Murray Amateur Radio Club repeater, W4GGM, transmitting on a frequency of 147.120, the tone of 127.3. This is an open net. Your comments are welcome. Net is not a traffic net. Anyone having emergency traffic may contact net control at any time. This is an open net, and all radio operators are welcome to check in. While it's not necessary to be a member of the Murray Amateur Radio Club to take part in our net, all interested stations are invited to join the club. For more information on joining, please contact any member. Go to our website, w4ggm.org. This is an informal net. Your comments are welcome. While our net is not a traffic net, anyone having emergency traffic may contact net control at any time. Again, this is K4LEN with the Murray Amateur Radio Club newbie net. Does anyone have any emergency or priority traffic at this time? Nothing heard. Do we have any announcements?
K4LE and N4BBB.
N4BBB. Scott, good evening.
I have lesson number 3 of the traffic handling tutorial to start this evening, Justin, at your leisure.
All right, Scott. It's good to have you in here tonight. And we'll take some check-ins and we'll get started. Any other announcements tonight?
K4MKH with the announcement.
KK4MKH. Good evening, Barry. Go ahead.
Justin, make the short tonight for us. Go get those on the net. KK4MKH, I get not mine up. We got a couple of nets tonight. And the announcement is remind everybody the next meeting coming up. And 3 weeks from this turn tonight. The next will be at the Miller County Club meeting to be on 5:15, 5:30 each, and meeting start at 7 p.m. at the restaurant. I'll be back in the restaurant or Office and Medicine Center. Be at the club meeting to be on April the 12th, and second Tuesday in April. 3 weeks from tonight, April the 12th. Don't get out coming up. Miller County Club in-person meeting, the Miller County Club Zoom meeting, in person and be on Zoom. The 12th of April. Don't get out coming up. And I've got swap meet meeting coming up, April the 9th. Yeah, 2 p.m. to 8, 3 p.m. to minute start. Yeah, back to you, Justin. You're doing a good job. And check Tiffany, W8ZTW. KK4MKH clear.
All right, Barry. We'll get you and Cliff both on the list, my friend. And thanks for the announcements. Any other announcement? All right, nothing heard. We'll go ahead and start taking our regular check-ins for tonight. Again, there'll be a training lesson number 2 with Scott N4BBB. After I take check-ins, I'll hand that over to Scott, and we'll get started. So, anyone wanting to check in, please come with your name and call sign now.
This is November 1, Charlie Oscar Zulu. My name is Carl.
This is UD4NCO. Name is Art.
This is Kilo Oscar 4, Yankee Uniform X-ray, Justin, KO4YUX.
This is K4ZDR, Dale.
Alright, we got us a little list going there now. We can pick up any other check-ins as we go along, but good evening, Barry, Cos, Art, I think you said Justin and Dale, KO4YUX. Did I get your name correct?
Yes, Justin is correct, KO4YUX.
Roger, Roger. You got a wonderful name, by the way. All right, Scott, N4BBB. I'm going to hand it over to you. Let you have it, my friend.
Thank you, Dale. Dale. Thank you, Justin. You got me so confused with the great name, Justin. No, I've already got Art, Cos, Justin, and Dale, along with K4LEN logged on, and you'll get credit for the night's training. Well, just to reiterate briefly from last week, two of the items you'll need to have on hand are the FSD, Foxtrot Sierra Delta 218, which is the amateur message form, and it gives you a lot of the handling instruction abbreviations, pro signs, etc., standard texts and such, and also the FSD, Foxtrot Sierra Delta Figure 3, numbered radiograms. Now, I sent those out about maybe 3-4 weeks ago on the reflector for the Murray Amateur Radio Club, and so you should have those. Anybody who doesn't, drop me a quick email and I'll send you another copy. But they are up there on the mail reflector from about a month ago. So it's also good to have a paper and pencil or ink pen or whatever you like, just for taking notes and filling out forms. So tonight is Chapter 6, and Chapter 6 deals with pro signs, pro words, phonetics, and QN signals. So I'm using the National Traffic System Training program from ARRL, so this is all in accordance with and agreement with the ARRL's traffic procedures. The importance of using the indicators like the pro signs and pro words cannot be emphasized enough, because especially on phone, and we have our own Q signals for CW use, the use of phonetics is usually not needed as often because FM, UHF, and VHF radio is so clear, but it's still helpful and keeps the net flowing as you're passing traffic. On CW, learning and using the QN signals and pro signs is easy, and it's a must. And you can get those from the FSD 218, and that's the best operator's aid for this type process. It will be more on the CW processes later on in the net, but we use 3 or 4 of them in the CW net every day. QNI, which means check in, QRU, anything for me, or I have nothing for you. QNX, excuse for the net. QNN is net control. You don't have to.
Thank you. Time the repeater out. You'll be back.
Good. I'm trying not to set the world record for timeouts on the repeater. Another common thing is I say again. If you want to repeat something for clarity, people know that you're going to repeat it, and they want to make sure they copy it twice. Let's see. Say again is usual. All after. That means they want you to give them a fill for all after, say, the word donate. Say all after donate, and they know you're going to give it to the end of the text message. All before, that's obvious. Between, word after, word before, end of message, no more. More to follow, that's like after you're saying break, more to follow, and then let the repeater drop. Of course, over, and that's something that we pretty much got drilled into our heads in the Navy, Marine Corps, Mars system, is you used over and out constantly, and I'm still very much in that habit. Roger, or you could say QSL. Sometimes in CW, Roger can just be an R. Confirm, wait or stand by, or correction, in case somebody needs to correct something that they just sent. Now, you'll find it necessary to use one or more of these at a time in many situations, particularly when you're asking for fills. For example, say again word after. Another thing is I spell amateur call. And another example of end of message, no more, over. So does anybody have a question on those? As I said, after the net, if you like, by request, I'll send you the list of these pro words, but they are good to have handy, and it is on that FSD 218 form. Any other questions or comments? This N4BBB, over. Means there's either no questions or everybody's just plain bored. Okay, QN signals. Now, QN signals are used in CWNet operations, as I mentioned a few minutes ago. A full list with meanings can be found on the FSD 218, and study them. They are easy. Most of them make really good sense. Right now, we will go into a few needed to get you onto a CWNet. And by the way, the Tennessee CWNet is at 7 p.m. nightly on 3562. And they will, if you want to check in, they will match your CW speed. Also, there is a regional net at 745 on that same frequency. Let's see. So here are the few you'll need when you're getting onto a CWNet. During a call up the net NCS, the Network Control Station, will send the name of the net using abbreviations of the net name, such as NYS, which would be New York State. And what we do on the Tennessee net, it's just TN space TN space TN, and then you ask for QNI and K. That means, so anybody want to check in, and over to you. So QND, that means the net is directed. Quebec, November, Delta. This net is a directed net. QNZ, Quebec, November, Zulu. That means 0 beat my frequency, please. And QNN, Quebec, November, November. That means net control station call is. So that is very, very straightforward use of the abbreviations there. The net control may send QNA, Quebec, November, Alpha, which means answer in prearranged order. That means the NCS is looking perhaps for liaison stations or stations with traffic to check in first. Then he will send QNI, meaning net stations report in, or a general call up for any station to check in. Break. Training on the CW net abbreviations are available at in a later section of this training. The next section is phonetics. Now, most of those are very, very standard, and the IARU phonetics are pretty much standardized worldwide. And you will get some cute abbreviations from time to time, and you'll hear them on the phone net. You'll hear some other things. But to be most quickly understood by people, using a standard phonetic is the best way to go. And we don't need to go into those because those are used each and every day. Break. Also, there are standard abbreviations for the months, such as JANFEB, MAR, etc., most of which are easily understood. Same thing for abbreviations for the states, such as TN or GA or AL. Those use the standard postal abbreviations. So, next section is figures. When pronouncing figures or numerals, there are only two that most people have problems with. The number 5 should be pronounced fife, like F-I-F-E. The number 9 should be pronounced niner, and that's very standard in military nets. 0 is 0, not O. So it's if it's sent like this, it would be much less confusing. And people go out of their way to pronounce 5 as fife and 9 as niner. And it's a little bit artificial sounding at first, but it really makes for cleaner traffic passing. So our next exercise, we are going to have a test message. Hang on, let me take a drink of water.
Net. Do we have any other check-ins while he's taking a quick drink of water?
Test message. This is our first test message that we're doing. This test message is going to be referred to many times during the course of training. Please have your copy with you in a separate piece of paper so you can write it down and put it aside. And it will be used many times in the sessions that follow. You can go slowly and explain, for instance, this part is the preamble, which is the first line across your paper. You can also get that off of the FSD 218. So here's the test message. Now, the following test message could consume an entire 30-minute session. There's going to do a breakdown of each part of it. And we may not want to get into the whole depth of this. I'll see how long it goes. So our preamble of the message is NR, which stands for number, 421 space R. That just means it's a standard routine message. Hotel X-ray Golf. That's the handling instruction. And those handling instructions are very, very important. They are what determines if a message is an emergency message, or if the message should be canceled after it's delivered, or report date of delivery, etc. The handling instruction on this message is Hotel X-ray Golf. Looking at the FSD 218, Hotel X-ray Golf means delivery by mail or landline. Toll call is not required. If toll or other expenses involved, cancel message and service originating station. Now, that obviously in the day comes from the days of landline phones. And since most people have a cell phone at their fingertips, they can make these long-distance calls at no charge. But that's a sort of a holdover from the old days. So after the Hotel X-ray Golf, we have an amateur call, Kilo Foxtrot 1, Sierra Lima Golf. That's an amateur call, space, Alpha Romeo Lima 25. Now once again, that FSD 218 is very important. If you look on your, I printed mine out on 3 pages, 4 pages. And
Timed it out again.
this is going on so long, but I'll end probably after the preamble. Okay, so after the Alpha Romeo 25, you have next the address of the sender, Brewster, Massachusetts. And I spell Bravo Romeo Echo Whiskey, Sierra Tango Echo Romeo, space, Mike Alpha. And then there's the date time group, and that's done in a very standardized fashion. It would be 21, figures 21. I suppose you could say that was a mixed group. November Oscar Victor, November, 2130 Zulu. I left out the Zulu, excuse me. Bad traffic handling. November 23. So, what you have is that date time group. The date time group tells you the time and the date in which the message was created. This is N4BBB with the Murray Amateur Radio Club NewbieNet traffic training session. Anybody have any questions, or do we have any additional people to check in? So as you can see, when the purpose of traffic handling is to handle traffic efficiently and 100% true to the original text, things like that ARRL 25 make a big difference, because the receiving station might be having interference, they might be participating in some sort of a disaster drill, there may be a disaster going on with where they are, but because that is a standard text format, they won't be able to look up on that FSD3 and see exactly what that ARRL 25 means exactly, without having to ask for fills or have to go through complicated repeats and fill-ins and all after and all before. This is N4BBB. I'm going to conclude this lesson here. Next week we'll start in the preamble. That we've done the preamble. We'll start on the address and the text forms of the message. This is N4BBB. Any additional stations? Over.
This is N4JW, late check-in.
Thank you. Thank you for checking in. Good to hear you. And I've told people that are able to attend all or most of the training lessons that they will be getting an official relay station certificate from the ARRL. So I've got you on the list. Thank you very much, Joe. I've also got WD4NCO, N1COZ, KO4YUX, and KA4ZDR, plus N4JW. Any additional stations before we turn it back over to Justin? Real good. Like I said, I'm trying to keep them short so they're not extremely boring, just a little boring. But it's good information and it's good stuff to have, because we're going to start letting people generate traffic. If you check into a net, you just send the net control a piece of traffic saying, I checked into your net and thank you. So we'll get into that later, and we'll get into that next week. Next week we'll handle the address section of the test message. Please hold on to your note sheets. This is N4BBB. Thank you for listening to the training net, and back over to K4LEN. This is N4BBB clear.
I've actually recorded this lesson. I didn't have time to put it up on my YouTube channel, but it is being recorded. I'll probably end the recording right here. That way we can don't have to go through comments on it, and